Shit Together with me, Caitlin O'Ryan, the podcast that celebrates not having your shit together. Happy holidays. I hope you've all had a lovely few days, whatever you've been doing. We've been sharing some shit shots on our social media as a little Christmas gift for you all. Thank you for your patience with the next episode. Like everyone else, we've got a little bit lost with the strange period between Christmas and New Year, but we finally gathered our shit together enough to drop the episode for you. On today's episode, we have for you the hilarious Ruairi McInerney. Ruairi is a comedian, an improviser and an actor. He was a semi-finalist in So You Think You're Funny and the Amused comedy competition. He's been on the London circuit ever since, honing his skills in both stand-up and character comedy. He's also studied and performed improv in Chicago at the famed I.O. Theatre, which has alumni like Amy Poehler, Tina Fey, Chris Farley and Rachel Dratch. He's an impressionist who's created characters including Lillian, Vicar Debbie and Mary the Widow, and he's also mimicked celebrities like Nadine Coyle, Joanna Lumley, Princess Diana and Trinny Woodall, working with the latter on projects for their makeup and skincare line. You can check out his videos on Instagram at Ruairi McInerney. You can catch him doing his work in progress show from January 2024, and you can also see him improvising with his brother Sean McInnerney with the Brothers Grin Improv. But if you follow him on Instagram, I'm sure he'll have all of his dates there. I hope you enjoy the episode. Here's Ruairi. Paddering. Yeah.
My stepdad lost it in Hampstead Ponds the first and only time he swam in them. I know.
Lost to the sea.
But he was kind of looking at my, because I wasn't there, but he was looking at my mum and my brother, kind of like looking at them like, I've lost it. And they're like, well, we're not going to get it. Do you know what I'm saying? We're not going to be able to find it.
It's gone, babe.
It's gone.
It's in the ponds.
Get over it.
Oh my God. There must be so much shit in those ponds.
Oh, I'd say like Harry Potter. Do you remember that thing when they swim down? Like the big, I imagine the grass really long.
Yeah. Well, like the Sword of Gryffindor or whatever.
Yeah. Or when they go down in the Goblet of Fire and there's like the whole Mer City.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
And the mermaids are very scary.
Yeah. They are.
It's terrifying.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Harry Potter.
I know.
Well, Ruairi.
Hi.
Welcome.
How are you?
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming all of this way from Shoreditch.
From Shoreditch,
Train delays and shit like that.
I know. God, there's very cross people on the overground.
Yeah.
Do you know, I think when there's any delay or anything, I'm just kind of like, just keep your head down. I don't want to feed under that energy. I'm like, I'm doing a podcast this afternoon.
I need to stay calm.
I need to stay calm.
Especially for this one.
I know.
So on that then, on a scale of shit to together, how are you feeling today?
I'd say about a 5.
5? Okay.
Yeah.
Talk me through it.
Well, to be honest with you, just kind of... So I thought we were doing this tomorrow until I checked on my Instagram today.
I think we both had like chaotic days, to be honest.
Really good, yeah.
I thought you were so on it because you were messaging me about it this morning.
Because I was thinking, I'm just going to double check. And then I saw, I was like...
bless you.
Because when I said, well, let's change to 2 o'clock, I meant tomorrow. And then I was like, oh God, it's today. I was like, oh, I'm glad it's 3. I was like, thank God.
I know, and then you were like, I could do later. I was like, this is very mixed messages.
I know. Oh God. Try dating me. It's just all over the shop. But I feel a lot more calm now. I'm in your lovely calm environment. This is lovely. Coffee, thank you so much.
Yes, I lit some candles in order to try and make myself feel calm as well.
How'd it go?
I think it helps. Mood lighting always helps, I think.
I'm not a big fan of a big light.
I hate a big light.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I just find it... Do you know, I will actually go to a restaurant, even if the food's bad, or go to a bar if the staff are a bit awful, if the lighting's nice, because I just feel instantly, I can handle things better.
Yeah. Also for a date as well, don't take me to a fucking stark lighting.
Well, it feels like a doctor's here when you be examined or something, yeah. We're like, leave that till later. See if it goes well. Is that a Yankee candle?
It's not. I think it's like a middle at Lidl.
Oh, I love a middle at Lidl. Oh, God. Yeah. And an Aldi.
An Aldi?
They do a knockoff Joe Malone, you know.
Do they?
Perfect.
Oh my God. I've heard the alcohol is better from those places as well.
The wine.
Yeah.
They used to do a lovely organic, like Tempranillo, whatever. Sorry. Some beautiful Spanish wine. But it was like, and it was organic, and it was Toro Loco. And they've discontinued it here, but it's back in Ireland. And it's delicious. And let me tell you, I don't know what it is, but I don't feel as hungover when I drink it.
That's great. Maybe it's organic.
Yes, the sulfates. I think there's none of them, or whatever it is.
Tell you what, wine is fucking me at the moment.
In a good way or a bad way?
I think the night that you're drinking it in a good way.
I know.
The next day, absolute like.
Are you exhausted?
Anxiety. It's anxiety.
Really?
Mad anxiety. Yeah. I'm regretting everything. And I can remember everything, but it's like I've put a pair of goggles on.
Oh no.
And suddenly everything is seen through this like scary little lens. It's horrible. I think that's just getting older.
Things you've said, or was it?
Just an overwhelming feeling like of non-specific.
Oh God. Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like I've
Yeah.
done something wrong. Even though I can remember everything. It's dead weird.
God, is a certain colour? Because I can't drink rosé.
I don't like white.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, but then red makes me like super hungover.
Really?
Yeah.
God, do you like rosé, or do you have any wine that doesn't?
I do like rosé in the summer.
In the summer.
Yeah.
I went to a wedding once, and the
Yes.
day after we drank rosé. Like I keep saying rosé wine, it's rosé, isn't it? It's just like so red wine, white wine, and rosé.
Rosé
Mixed
wine.
messages. Let me say, but we had rosé, and it had like a boat filled with ice.
Yeah.
And they said all these bottles of rosé, which are gorgeous. It was like an
my
ad.
gosh, yeah.
So we were just taking them, and it was like sunny, and it was by the
Yeah.
beach, and it was gorgeous.
Sun's gonna fuck you as well because you never realise how dehydrated you're getting.
This is it.
Yeah.
I don't think I drank a drop of water. I drink a lot of water
Woof.
day to day. Woof was right. And the next day, I just couldn't think, and the panic and the anxiety and the dread.
God.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the quantity and not the rosé.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Don't
shouldn't
blame,
really shit on the
don't
rosé.
blame the tool, as they say.
Exactly. Yeah. The alcoholic wielding it. Yeah.
Wow, we've gone on a journey there. Back to today.
Today.
Yes.
So it's good. I feel far more settled now.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of days like that you kind of go.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wake up calm,
Yeah.
and then I have a panic, and then I relax again, and then it kind of there's like a mild panic. But as long as I'm moving, I feel like I think it's more if I've got too many things to do. If I've got too many things to do, I feel like I get more done. And I feel like I'm less panicked because they're like mini panics.
Right.
Whereas if I've got all day to kind of like
Do one thing.
Yeah. I feel like I can
That's
bask
what they
in the
say,
panic.
isn't it? Like, if you want something done, give it to a busy man.
Yeah.
Because it's just ticking things off and you're kind of going from one thing to the next. But if you have this one thing and you've got like 3 days to do it, it's never going to get fucking done because you'll leave it until the last minute.
I know.
Yeah.
Because I'm undiagnosed ADHD or ADD. It was kind of when I was at uni, I used to ask my tutors to give me a different deadline. Because I was like, could you just give it to me? And they're like, but you'll know. I said, but I feel like then I do the best things the day
Like
day
a
before
placebo
the like a placebo deadline. You know what I mean? And then I was like, so then I would have like a few days then where I could really snap it together. But I went to get tested because my it was, I don't know if you still do this, but with dyslexia you got a free laptop and a dictaphone.
Great.
I know my friend Jess, I came to her house and she was like, oh, and I said, is that on your laptop? I said, have you been on like a spree? And she was like, no, I got that because of dyslexia. I went, what? And then my laptop broke.
No way.
So I went for dyslexia test and I said, can you just tell me how I need to answer? And she goes, I don't think it works like that. I was like, right, okay. So I went in and I did the test and they said, right, Rory, you don't have dyslexia. I was like, oh, fuck. And so I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I was like, and then they went, but you've got lots of telltale signs of ADD or ADHD.
Wow.
And they went, do you want further testing? I went, do I get a free laptop with ADD? And they said no, and the testing cost £100. I said, I'm fine.
Oh my God.
I know, but I probably should have done because now I'm kind of going through the process of doing that now.
Oh wow.
You know, 13 years later.
Oh my gosh.
God, imagine if I'd been diagnosed, I could be President of the United States.
Been held back, babe. So what does like a normal day look like for you then? Is it quite like you having to plan your own day and like hopping around?
Hopping around.
Yeah.
I could have used to hopping around like most jobs I've had have been kind of like different every day.
Right.
Like it's kind of I've never really excelled or felt comfortable. Like the only time I've ever had an office job was just so hard.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I don't think. No.
And I was an estate agent.
Oh my God.
I know, for lettings.
Wow.
Which is like, I know, just like the bottom rung.
Oh my God.
Because there's like a hierarchy within, supposedly. And it was just going in every day and then just knowing the office was waiting for me. And then I think it was more the job than the office.
Yeah.
I was just very bad at it.
Wow. You must have seen some flats. Was it in
I
London?
loved that part. It was in London,
wow.
in Ealing. And
Ooh.
Acton. Then they moved me to Acton. Then they moved me to Shepherd's Bush. They moved me around a bit. That should have been kind of...
What do I?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, there should have been a realisation I could be sacked. It was like, we're going to move you again. I was like, oh, fine, yeah, fab. Shebu I ended up in.
Slowly ending up further and further out of London.
No, exactly. Slowly started to smaller and smaller offices. But I was bad. Like the first viewing I went on, I forgot the keys. And I asked the
Oh my
couple to
God.
wait in a pub. And then when I finally got there, I was like, are you excited? And then we opened the door and I went, whoa, it's a lot smaller than it looks in the photos.
Oh my
That's what I
God.
said.
Wow.
Anyway, then I found out I got...
Too honest.
I know. I think just, word vomit when you're nervous.
Yeah. I remember when I was, like, looking for places in London, because obviously, like, it's so expensive for what you get. And, like, I would go to some flats, and the estate agent, they'd be like... I'd have specifically said that I wanted, like, a living room or something.
Yeah.
And then they'd take me, and it wouldn't have a living room, but it would have, like, a tiny little, like, office room.
Or a cupboard.
Yeah, and he'd be like, well, this is your living room. And I'd just be looking at him like, would you live here?
There's a map in the corner. Yes, is this your
like
living
the
room?
audacity
I know.
of, like... And he was like, I think you can make it work. And I was just like, you're a liar.
Yeah, I know. But there is, like, so a couple came in one time.
Yeah.
And we had no 2 bedrooms, because they were, like... They were just going like hotcakes, and then this couple came in with a beautiful couple. I don't know if somehow they were like they seemed really charming, which somehow made it worse. And they had this beautiful baby, and they came in. They were like, "We need a 2-bedroom flat. Our baby's getting older and all this." I said, "Right, yeah." Took down their details, and I said, "Well, we've got nothing at the moment." And they said, "Well, just let us know." They said, "We'll find it really hard." So they walked out, and then my manager came over. And he goes, "Why did you let them leave?" I said, "We've got nothing to show them." He goes, "Well, why did you not bring them to Godolphin?" And I went, "That's a 1-bedroom flat." And he goes, "Well, there's that area beside the stairs where they can put the baby." I went, "What, the hall?" And they were like, "Yeah." They said, "That's big." And I said, "Isn't Godolphin Riddlewood damp?" And they went, "Yeah." And I went, "They have a child." I was like, they just...
Sorry, Harry Potter.
I know.
The stairs. My God.
I know, damp as well. I mean, at least, I don't know what Harry's situation was.
Yeah,
it seemed probably dusty rather
quite
than
small. I think it's more the size, wasn't it?
God, well, do you know what? You'd be lucky to have that in London now. I would kill for that. Covered under the stairs.
£700 rent.
Exactly.
Bills not included.
Not included, yeah, exactly. And there's actually a maintenance cost for the stairs.
Okay, cool. So, for people at home then, what would you describe what you do? Because you're not an estate agent anymore.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I've branched out, thank God. I've left that world behind. So I'm a comedian.
Okay.
So I do improv and like character comedy and sketch.
Yeah.
So before, I didn't really do anything online, but then during lockdown I wasn't performing because,
Of course,
if you know everything, I'm and so then I started doing stuff online, and then started kind of going out, and then kind of bringing those characters then out into the wild, or kind of in front of audience and stuff, which was kind of fun because I'd never done stand-up in character before.
Wow.
Or I'd never done like character comedy and drag out in the thing. And do you know what? It's just so much better.
It's like liberating.
Yeah, when you've got a wig on, it's like and it feels like when it's not you, and if it doesn't land, it's like water off a duck's back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You don't take it so personally.
It's so weird, isn't it?
I love it.
Yeah.
It's like very kind of like the opposite of Gwyneth Paltrow in Shakespeare in Love. Which I don't believe that wig fit on that long, luscious blonde hair.
No.
Have you seen that?
I love that film.
Do you? Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to watch it again recently. I don't know why I stopped. I think it was on.
Sometimes when you revisit things,
I know. You're better to
it's not aged as well, yeah.
Scream's aged well.
I've not seen that. I've never seen it.
You've never any of them?
No.
There's like 27 of them now.
Yeah, I know, tons. I'm quite bad with scary films. Is it scary? Or is it funny scary?
I'm not great with scary films.
Right, okay.
Especially, Game Over, but says it's based on a true story.
Oh my God.
Because at least I comfort myself in bed at night.
But they all say that they're based on true stories now, and then it's like there's 1% truth. Like maybe they've taken someone's name.
Yes, or those curtains were used from a real house. It's like based on real curtains. I know. I try to remind myself, and even if it's something really outlandish, like The Ring.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I couldn't sleep right.
Too much.
I watched the advert for Annabelle. The doll.
Yes.
And just the advert on Netflix, and I couldn't sleep right for 3 weeks.
Oh my God. I've got an overactive imagination.
Yeah. Which is great for our biz.
Yeah.
Great
but
for
terrible for sleeping.
I know, it's not good. It's great for the acting world, awful for a good night's rest.
Okay, so when did you get into comedy then?
So it was my brother actually got me into it.
Right.
So I was an estate agent, and I was just so kind of like, I just needed something else, and I was kind of going out too much, I think. And then I think he said he was going to do a comedy course, and I was thinking, that'll keep me in at the weekends.
Yeah.
So I think it was on a Sunday morning. Then he goes, there's also these improv classes.
Right.
So we started doing those, and then kind of going and doing that. I was thinking, God, this is so much more fun.
Yeah.
Because I feel like when I was doing all those jobs, I've had 30 jobs in my life.
Oh my.
I know. I'm 33 years old.
Wow. One a year.
Almost one a year. I know, since birth. But I remember all those jobs. It was kind of like you'd be like, oh God, that was stressful. But then you'd go out and drink or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas I found the comedy thing, you were kind of going out and you were like doing the classes or doing shows, and then you were like having a good time.
That was like the endorphin hit.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, and then the people were fun.
Yes. Yeah.
It was kind of like you were kind of going
You're
around.
not chasing something.
Yeah, and you're not kind of going there and like, I don't know, trying to get the crack going in a group. Not that or trying to find fun, out.
Yeah.
You're just around funny people or people that have kind of, I think comedy people and kind of like people who perform and stuff as well, they're a bit more, the conversation is weirdly kind of like relaxed but also more charged because they kind of know themselves more.
Yeah.
But then I think...
So you go deeper quicker.
Yeah.
It's less surface level.
Level. And you're kind of, I don't know, and they kind of, because they used to perform, they don't have to perform the conversation. So it feels a bit more relaxed.
Yeah.
I think where sometimes as well when you're kind of, if you're with people, I think, I don't know, when I was working in different offices or different jobs, if they didn't talk that regularly, they felt like they had to be funny and, everything was kind of a bit charged.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was kind of different.
Yeah.
So it was a bit more, I just felt more at home.
Yes.
Finding your tribe, I think is what you call it.
Definitely.
But it was good.
Yeah. And so how do you find doing comedy then? Because before we started...
Oh, yeah.
I just think it's the most terrifying thing. Because like you're getting up in front of people and I guess with any other art form, be that like acting, you're kind of hiding behind a character.
Yes.
Or like, doing spoken word poetry, that doesn't necessarily have to be funny. Music, people are just there to listen. I still think music's quite terrifying, but like comedy is like, if people aren't laughing, it's very, very obvious
I know
that you're failing.
I know.
Like,
you see, I actually feel the opposite. I find spoken word, like my cousin's a singer and she's doing very well. She's the same age as me. I'm happy for her. Not at all bitter or jealous. No, she's lovely. But she goes out and sings, and I find singing very
so
raw and vulnerable.
Yeah.
Well, plus I've got a terrible voice.
Yeah.
It's good to know your strengths and weaknesses. But even like spoken word, I think something like there's something kind of very vulnerable. Like whereas I think with jokes or being funny or doing a character thing, I find it more kind of. I don't know, if it doesn't land, it's like, it's just a sense of humour thing.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? Or, I don't know, it's kind of more in my wheelhouse. I think doing something like dramatic, like when I was at drama school, because I went to this, it was like an evening drama school called Identity, and they said, you've done comedy, you can do comedy, but that's not really acting, is it? And I was like, right. So then we had this assessment, and I chose this monologue. And I worked on it for weeks and I was like, they are going to be in bits. They're going to be absolutely wailing, crying. And it was from Simon Stevens' Birdland.
Yeah.
And it was, did you ever read the play? It's like the really dramatic scene where there's like, he's talking to his friend in bed and he's like trying to like open up about something awful he's done. So anyway, I finished the monologue and I turned around and my tutor was kind of, looked like he was wiping a tear away. And I was like, thank God. Nailed it. And he goes, that is hands down the most comical interpretation I've ever seen of that monologue. He goes, the way you laid it on so thick in such a funny way. I was like, what? I was devastated.
Just got funny bones, babe.
I know, but when you're trying to be dramatic, I was like, cool.
That's so interesting though, because I've always thought that like comedians can, like, if you can do comedy, then you can do drama. But if you can do drama, you can't necessarily do comedy in terms of acting, because I think what comedy and tragedy are actually very close to each other. And I think in order, wanky Shakespeare talk, but in order for those tragedies to land more is like finding the lightness and the comedy in it, because if you play it all too dark and despairing, that's not human nature. Like, gallows humour exists for a reason. It's because it's your Irish, babe, that's why.
I know, but that's what you say in Ireland. It's either if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Exactly.
And you see people like awake, like, the culture in Ireland, like, Catholic Ireland, if someone passes away, you've got like a 3-day wake. And I've laughed. You've been, of course, yes. I've actually laughed. It sounds so weird. Laughed most heartily, like my stomach laughing at those wakes. Because I think your emotions are running so high. God,
it's so weird. And it's such a fast turnaround. You don't have time to process anything.
I remember my mum laughing and then all of a sudden she was crying. But then she was kind of, it's like, when you're a bit hysteric.
Yes.
Like in both ways, like hysterically laughing or hysterically crying. I really feel like everything's just like hysteric level. And then you're also, you hit the deck because I think you're so on adrenaline that you sleep then, like,
for a while,
pan out, and then you're up the next day. So by the time the burial comes round, like 3 days later, I think you kind of like run the gambit of all those emotions. Like you've laughed, you've cried, you've laughed, and then you also hear lovely stories about the person, so it kind of makes you easier to cope the fact that they're gone.
I think so, yeah.
An open casket as well.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
How was yours the first time you saw?
So I've only been to one Irish Catholic funeral.
Right.
It was my grand's.
Yeah.
And the turnaround was so fast. Like, I think she died on the Friday. She was in the ground by the Sunday.
Yes.
But I remember like flying over there, and I'd heard about funeral.ie.
Yes. Oh, the website.
The website.
Yes.
Which is like, in Ireland, it kind of lets people know
The details.
that someone's died and that like where the details of the wake are. And like by the end, my gran was she never really left the house. Like I think she suffered with anxiety and stuff like that. She never really left the house. So arriving at the house, and literally there was like people spilling out of the door. I was like, who are all of these people? And like trying to fight it into the house because people have just come for like the chat, the crack.
Yes, I know.
The tea, the coffee.
And just show some respect. Like I think
it's a very cultural thing, isn't it? That you go and you pay your respects for the
people
person.
really like them.
Exactly.
Not that I'm sure your grandma's
No.
beloved. But it's like, I remember even going places, I didn't really know them, I was thinking, but my mum was like, well, if we don't go, you know, I'm sure they won't notice this. But there's usually, because as well, you want to sympathise with the family.
Absolutely.
But it's funny to see your grandmother's house.
Yeah, like filled.
Did it look odd?
It felt strange because obviously I've got like a big family, so I've got like 28 first cousins.
Jesus.
The Irish.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean there was hundreds. It felt like hundreds of people, and it was like trying to fight to get through to the open casket, and that was odd seeing someone. And that was weird because it's like it's obviously that person, but you really feel the sense that the spirit isn't there anymore.
Yes, I know.
You?
Yes, it's a different
and like
thing.
whoever's done the makeup, like she never wore a makeup like that.
I know.
Bless them, they've tried.
They've tried. I know. It really depends.
She wasn't there to let them know how they
It's like put the blusher down. I know, it's really kind of different. Or even, but I think the first open casket I saw was when I was about 3 years old, 3 or 4 years old. But so it's kind of, well, I don't know. I can't really say what's best, but I feel like from that age, you kind of know that, as you said, that's just their body.
Yeah.
And they're passed away, and there's a sense of closure.
Yeah.
I think the sad part sometimes as well is when they put the lid on the casket, the lid on the coffin.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of very much the end.
Yeah.
But you kind of demysticize it. You kind of like, oh, they were sick or they died and then they're there.
Well, I think it's probably like a healthier way of living with grief.
Yeah.
Than over here, where everything is kind of shut away behind like a curtain. You
takes
kind
so
of like
long.
meet it a bit more.
Over here, I think it's because
it takes weeks.
I'm the first funeral. I couldn't believe it.
I thought that was more normal though. I thought the fast turnaround was just like so.
You felt a bit
quick.
rushed.
I felt a bit like I remember because I was at drama school at the time and I had to leave drama school to go. I think I flew out on the Friday and then, like I say, she was buried by the Sunday and then I was back on the Monday. And suddenly I was just like, oh my God, that was like a whirlwind.
Yes.
And then I think it was like 2 weeks later I was in like a voice class.
Yeah.
And I was doing my and then suddenly like grief just like flew out of me and I was like, wow, I think I've just been like suppressing it because it was just so fast.
Jeez, I'm sure your drama teacher was like, use that. Remember this feeling. Tin that feeling. It's hard, but because I went back. I remember my grandmother passed away. It was a similar thing. I was working as a hairdresser because I know one of the job. And then it was like I said, I had to go back for the wake, and we went back to Donegal, and then it was like, and then we like wake my granny up in my mum's house, and then it was like going back then, and then I started university, and it was only a few weeks later that I was thinking, God, that was really quick.
Yeah.
But she was sick for a long time.
Right. Okay.
So she wasn't really like
Yeah.
But I think it was. See, it was what I was used to, but I think it's because I wasn't living at home. That was the first probably funeral I'd gone to where I wasn't there. And it was also the closest person ever who's passed away from me.
Yeah.
But then my mum was on her own, so my mum went from like my grandmother being sick and like her visiting her, then also me going through my A-levels or juniors or leaving cert we call it in Ireland. My brother kind of getting ready for university, so she said she felt like she didn't have enough hours in the day. To then me and my brother leaving and my grandmother passing away, so she had all this time.
Yeah.
And when I was up and I'd ring her up and I'd say, how are you? And she was like, oh, fine. She wanted me to have a good time, but God, it must have been so tough for her.
Yeah.
Completely like to go from like a house that was always like full to empty.
Yeah. Yeah. I found it as well with like because they all had to like put the spread on for everyone as well at the funeral. And like there's so much admin, there's so much business around a funeral, isn't there?
Yeah, and there's usually usually a group comes descends in the house and they kind of take over the kitchen and then they do the sandwiches and the tea.
Yeah.
And then there's usually sometimes as well. I know sometimes you meet people and I don't know what they kind of, God, it sounds like I'm going to be a real bitch, but like professional funeral goers.
Professional mourners.
Yes.
This is my auntie. This is what I was saying about funeral.ie. I swear my auntie, when I've spoken to her before, she's like got 3 things in the diary for that week, which is different funerals.
Different funerals.
Around.
And they'll
it's
come
a social
around.
occasion.
Yes, and they'll kind of swing around and they're like, I'll do the sandwiches. And they're like, oh God, you know, go on. And they're kind of like there. And then they're like, we must stay in touch. I'll come around and see you. I was like, you won't see them then.
No.
Till the next funeral. It's like weddings and funerals.
Oh my God, honestly. There's got to be a film in that.
I know.
Okay, so on that then.
Oh yes, sorry, I know, Christ. I keep forgetting we're
No, I love it. What does having your shit together mean to you?
Like, what does it look like or how does it feel? Both.
Either.
I think visually it'd be kind of like, you know, one of those eye calendars.
Oh, yeah.
With all the dots and people have really organised. I've never had this before in my life. Or like
we're manifesting it.
Manifesting it, yeah, like an eye calendar that's really you know what you're doing kind of from day to day or week to week.
Yeah.
Or like an iPhone without loads of those red icons of like missed calls and messages and emails unanswered. That's what I think having your shit together looks like. And then I don't think I've ever really felt that I was completely on top of things. It's like a feeling I would be a sensation I wouldn't be used to. Or even, I don't even know. Because
You'd be suspicious.
I would be like, what am I forgetting? It's like a child. But yeah, I don't think I've ever... I think it would be a foreign sensation to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm used to kind of just bouncing along and kind of like getting things done as and when, kind of ad hoc.
Yeah.
But then I think...
That's kind of become your normality.
Yeah. Which kind of things, because if things fall through, I don't really get upset. I find booking a holiday very hard.
Because it's so far in advance.
So far in advance, and I just don't like, I always feel like I stress about, like if someone said, let's go to Liverpool tomorrow, that would do no sweat, I'd be like, let's
why
go.
Liverpool?
Yeah, I don't know, or...
Let's be more ambitious.
Or Buenos Aires. Or somewhere like that.
Dream bigger.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Brighton. Somewhere real exotic. Something like that. I would Christ, Liverpool. Spread my wings. Come on. Use the damn passport. But something like that, I think I'd be like, great. Where someone goes, right, book a holiday for 6 weeks' time and book the hotel. I would find that anxiety inducing.
Because you don't know what you're going to be up to at that point.
And then am I booking at the right time?
Yeah.
Am I booking the right hotel?
Yeah.
I really don't care where I stay.
Yeah.
And I really don't care how I get there. But it's kind of like, but then if I'm like, especially if I was in charge of a group, Jesus.
Oh my God. I'm such a sheep.
You see? I
For
love
that
it.
reason.
Oh God, I love
My
it.
friends know that I'm not the organiser.
I know. I've got certain friends that organise things. And I'm just like, you know, just paint me a picture. Let me know how much I owe you.
Yeah.
I'll pass that on.
I'm a yes man.
Oh.
Like, not fussed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you know, even if it's a restaurant, oh my God, like the time we went out for dinner. I made you eat meat.
So, just for context.
Yeah, I know, sorry. Every time
So, what we're just referring to is the fact that
mumbling.
I am vegan.
Yes.
And have never eaten meat.
Until.
And now I can say that I have never knowingly eaten meat.
No, at all because of me.
No, was it your fault?
It was my dish.
Wow, this is how I find out. No, it wasn't. I thought it was Roshin's.
Oh, was it? Okay, good.
Yeah,
Well, it was
yeah.
one of ours.
Yeah, so basically, we had gone to this lovely little Italian restaurant before seeing a play.
Yeah.
And
Time was running on.
Time was running out, and I think the waiter came over and asked what we wanted, and it didn't have anything vegan on the menu. So I was like, "Do you do anything vegan?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yes, it's this," and he said some words that I didn't understand, but I was like, "Cool, I'll take it."
We were
one
like,
thing,
quick,
that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that then me and Roisin went to the toilet. We were sat at the end, and we came back, and the food had been brought out, and so I just assumed that whatever was in front of me was the vegan thing. So I started eating it, and then suddenly Roisin was like, "Why is my bolognese green?"
Yes, I know that.
And I was like halfway through a meatball.
Right, thank you. How did you feel after?
I felt fine, and do you know what? I actually didn't think it tasted. I only had one mouthful.
Yes.
And I remember like having it, and I was like, "This tastes like weird Linda McCartney," but I was like, "It's quite a bougie restaurant. Maybe they've got their own like vegan meat going on."
They've got their own vegan meat out the back, yeah.
And anyway, I was like, "Oh my God, what is it?" And then Roisin was like, "It's wild boar."
Oh!
So not even starting small and simple like chicken.
Wild boar.
Wild boar. That's
God.
So there we go. But I felt fine after it. I felt ashamed.
Yes, I know.
I had to apologise to any bore that I saw after that point.
Yes, because they are so common.
Yeah.
Exactly. I got nothing
They're
done.
in the wild, but
Got nothing done for a week with all the apologies.
But anyway, so that was your fault.
Yeah, but I think it was. I think I remember.
You're probably the person who said to put them down where they were.
That's what I think what happened.
Okay, well, that's actually why I've got you here. Is
Yes, the reckoning. I'm going to bring in the boar.
I want you to apologise to the boar's family.
Exactly.
Before the podcast, I asked you to think of an object that makes you feel like you've got your shit together.
Yes.
What's that?
My driving licence. Yes.
Wow, okay.
When I got that, I really felt like, well done me. That's the start.
When did you get it?
When I was 17. So like 18 years ago. No, 15 years ago. Peaked at 17.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it.
Oh my God, well done. I've still not got mine.
Oh, do you know what? It's more of a... It was one of those things, I think it's like, you know when you like learn, well I imagine learning to ski, I can't ski, or learning a language, I think, where it feels like a completely like unsurmountable task. Yeah. And I wouldn't have done it if my mum hadn't forced me to do the lessons, because I was like, it's fine. But where I'm from in Donegal, or in Ireland, is the transportation's awful. If you don't drive, it's very hard to get around.
Yeah.
Like, one time I had a ride with my mum, and I got out of the car, and I was like, I don't need you to give me a lift. And then I went to the bus station, I said, when's the next bus out there, Melton Road? They said, you just missed one. And I said, when did it leave? They said, 45 minutes ago. And I said, when's the next one? They said, 3 hours time. And I was like, I do need money. I'm sorry. like I'm home alone. So then I did my driving test. But the woman, I wore blue.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's meant to be a lucky colour.
Okay.
And then I was
You're wearing it now?
I'm wearing it now. I wear a lot of blue because of my eye. And then she kept tapping the thing, and I kept thinking they were minors. So I thought I'd failed.
Oh, okay.
So I was like this, and then I was like, right, okay. And then she finished the test, and we drove in, and then we had to go to this little thing. It was like in a industrial estate. Yeah. And then she went in, and she came out, and then she was very solemn. Yeah. And then she came out, and she put her eye on, she goes, congratulations. I got such a shock, I hugged her. And I was like this. I went, why did you keep tapping the screen? She goes, I should have said that's to keep the light on. And I was like, tell people that.
Yeah,
because I kept thinking minor. I know. Yeah. I was like, minor. I was like, I'll affect it. And
maybe that just let you let go.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, mind the curve.
I thought you already failed.
Yeah, exactly. Just go drive crazy.
Oh my gosh.
But when I got it through in the post, I just thought, oh my God, I'm delighted. I've actually got this.
Bet,
yeah, like a full driver's license.
That's like an adulting thing.
But ours was paper.
Yeah, my dad used to have one of these.
Yeah. So it was like it was pink
and
paper.
And it would be like falling apart, literally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're very good to fake. Because you could put it.
Is this an Irish thing or like a generational thing?
Oh, it's an Irish thing.
Okay,
so we only got cards through 6-7 years.
Right.
Pardon me. So like 6-7 years ago. So.
Wow.
When I went to America.
Yeah.
Brag. I had you could put a photo on it, and then you could put more like clear plastic over the top, so you could fake it. So I was Cormac Collins. When I went to America to start to have a drink, I was 19. Wow. I can't drink until 21.
Yeah.
So it was kind of, then if people ask you questions like, we're the same star sign, you're like, are we? Shit. But it was really, and then they want the cards in probably for that reason. Wow. I know.
Do you drive much in London?
No. I used to, when I had a job, I was a butler for a bit and I had a car.
God.
I know.
A hairdresser, an estate agent.
I'm butler, yeah.
Wow.
I know, you tell my path.
Oh my God, tell me about being a butler.
I know, it was mad. Yeah, so it was kind of like, so I worked in London, and then there was like, they would just come into London, the family used to come into London, so I used to look after where their place was in London, like 4 days a week.
Oh my God.
I know, it was strange. And then I didn't wear like a suit for like dinners or whatever, but it was like a polo shirt and a pair of chinos. And the worst colours for me. Wow. It was like a maroon, which just does not suit me. Yeah. And then like a sludge green chino.
They don't even go with each other.
They don't go with each other, and they don't go with me. And they were rotten. But it was an interesting job.
Wow.
And there was like, I remember they used to ask me to like, I think the other fellow who trained as a butler, because there's like a school, and he said, "Oh, where did you train?" I was like, "I just kind of learned on the job." And then he goes, will you decant this wine?" I said, "Yeah, no problem. I'd never decanted wine in my life." And he goes, "They're $5,500 per bottle." I went, "Fine." And I broke the cork in the bottle. And I was like, it's such a tiz. And I was in the corner, so I shoved the cork and then put it through a sieve into a jug.
That sounds
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I was like, oh.
I was literally about to say, what do you get taught in butler school? But clearly it's just that. Decanting.
And many, many more things, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I don't know, things that I would just botch.
Can you please tell us about a time in your life where you felt like you had your shit together?
I would say there was kind of, when I started doing improv.
Yes.
And really kind of like going to a team and starting doing shows.
And like finding your groove with it.
Finding my groove, and also just kind of being excited for performing. I think that was one time I really felt like I'd kind of got my shit together, where I was, rather than being nervous and kind of like, or that false confidence, being excited to go on stage.
Yeah.
Or kind of like going and warming up.
Control of it.
Yeah. Or even excited, kind of like giddy to kind of go on and not feel like that kind of like still feeling kind of adrenaline, but not feeling like, oh God, I hope this goes well, or oh, I'm really worried because someone's in the audience, or oh, I know that person, I hope the show's not awful. It was kind of like, oh God, I can't wait to get up there, and I can't wait to have fun. It was kind of felt like, it was kind of felt more together.
It was like trusting yourself in it.
Yes.
Because, so was it the free association?
Yes, that's what
I've done the free association.
Oh yes, of course.
But I would still now feel completely out of control with it. Like, I know it on like a technical level.
Yes.
But actually, like, the getting up in front of an audience and being able to trust myself that it's not going to go to shit. I think that's the confidence that you kind of see in really good improvisers. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
I'd still be really hesitant to like step forward and engage in anything.
Oh no, you'd be brilliant. But I would still feel like that with a play.
Oh, okay.
With a scripted thing, because I would forget. I would kind of panic, where I would feel like not like that at all in improv, because improv you're kind of just rolling with the punches. But with a play, I would think, God, if I forget a line,
maybe it's too prescriptive.
Or there's too much. Like if I forgot a bit of blocking, or if I forgot like a line, or do you know that kind of way? I was thinking, oh God. Whereas with improv, I kind of think, well, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Do you know, it's like, you know, if one's a thing's a dud, you just have to commit then to the next thing.
Yeah.
Or I remember I was going out with this guy, we met on this, it was like it wasn't a blind date, because I think we both stalked each other on Instagram, but it was his sister set us up, and I must have told him the first time we got set up, and you know, it was like a barbecue thing, that I had a show on a Thursday. So I'm getting ready for a show at the Free Association. I only see him come around the corner. But I think he was coming to support it. But a second day, it was him coming to watch me perform.
Oh my God.
I nearly choked.
I would hate that.
Oh God.
Oh
I can still feel the panic. And then I remember saying to my friend Lola Rose Maxwell, friend of the pod. But I said to her, God, he's here. She goes, what? I said, he's here. And she goes, well, don't try to be funny. She goes, that's going to be your death knell, because she goes, just support your scene partner and make them look funny, and you'll get through it. She goes, I don't envy you, but it was kind of.
Oh my God, yeah, but that's the best way to be, isn't it?
Best way to be.
Because I think I prang myself out with it when I'm like trying to be funny.
Oh Jesus, it's a death. Like
and you can tell watching people. They're trying really hard.
And that was, you know, when you try to be funny, you're like, or it's like, I remember they were doing like a round of auditions, and they were watching your shows. I've never done such bad shows.
Oh God.
Because I wasn't really listening.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about what I was doing. I was so in my head and being selfish.
Yeah.
Because I wanted it to, you know, look good. I wasn't thinking about how the show was going to look as a whole. And when I think when you're selfish, then you're just like. And then if everyone's got that energy, it's just like.
Nothing's working.
I know. It's like just setting a load of those toys. You know, there's like movement toys. I know. Yeah, just like going around. It's like chaos.
Oh my gosh. So when that all started to click, that's when you felt like you had your shit together.
Oh. And it was probably the first time I thought about like performing as like a career, or like performing as, or creating, like being on stage and like thinking of a character, and then like, you know, making that character come alive, or, you know, kind of just kind of, trusting probably myself and just enjoying it.
Yes.
Really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Rather than being like, oh, look like you're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think there's kind of that different ways to always try and look like, well, look like you're enjoying yourself, even though inside you're
dying.
Screaming.
Yes.
In the words of Kate Winslet in Titanic.
In opposition to that then, can you tell me about a time in your life where you really didn't have your shit together?
Oh, God. Too many times to mention. I think when I left, because I did design at uni.
Oh my gosh, okay.
I know, and then
it's
I kind of.
multifaceted.
I don't just choose a lane, basically. The ADHD brain. But I remember I was kind of coming out, and I was trying to do set design, but it just wasn't paying very well. And then I was trying to do other little odd jobs, and I was just like, I just couldn't see the woods for the trees. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to do this. but then I didn't really know.
See anything else? Any options? Yeah.
And I kind of felt like I was kind of looking at other people that I was at uni with, or looking at other people who are my age, who are really scorching a path to whatever they were doing. I was thinking, fuck, they've really got it together. Or shit. Like, and then especially that when people were like buying houses or...
Oh my God.
Or were doing really well. And fair play to them. Do you know, it was kind of like, it wasn't like jealous. It was more comparison, thinking, God, they've really done well.
Yes.
And I've done really shit. Like, I've made bad choices.
Yeah.
Or they were going on holidays.
Yeah.
Or them and their partner were like buying a car, or all those things. And it sounds really materialistic,
but it's also that very like heteronormative kind of socially expected. I don't feel like this happens so much in London. Maybe it's a thing of like back home. I'm not sure which friends specifically you're talking about, but like that comparing yourself to that lifestyle, which is actually not a lifestyle that you are living and perhaps might not want to live.
Yeah.
Like, but you still end up in that weird headspace with it.
Kind of seeing them, and they're like, I don't know, kind of them kind of maybe, or even living together, or I don't know, it was kind of, I think because I was maybe struggling with dating and stuff, and then also struggling with work and stuff, I felt like everything was kind of...
None of your things
were solid.
Kind of, yes.
I felt like it was all very much on sand.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, God, and then I kept thinking, just focus on one and sort that out. But it was very hard to do that.
I always say this to my friends because, so my closest group of friends in London, they're all from Oldham, back home, and none of them are actors. And kind of a similar thing is that sometimes I'll find myself comparing myself to their career trajectory or their relationship trajectory and stuff like that. And then I have to remind myself that is a path that I've like actively chosen not to participate in. But sometimes I'll find it, because work can be like, and acting can be so fluctuating and stuff like that, I can end up feeling like I need a relationship to feel tethered. It's like I'm constantly looking for something that's tethering me because everything is so uncertain.
Or kind of like
anchoring,
because otherwise you just feel very much adrift.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of that thing as well. Sometimes when I would say 85% of the time I'm fine.
Yeah.
And and happy enough.
Yeah.
And kind of like, in good form, or I love kind of living in London, and I love kind of what I'm doing and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's only those kind of, I think sometimes around maybe like birthdays.
And Christmas.
And Christmas especially.
Because it's like, it's reflecting on it each year, isn't it? And it's like, where was I last year? Where did I think I would be this year?
Yes.
It's so strange. It's like taking stock.
And it's almost kind of like, like your Spotify Wrapped.
Yes.
And you're kind of like, and it's Dua Lipa again. Yeah, exactly. Dua Lipa hallucinate 375,000 times.
You've listened to Olivia Rodrigo's Wake Up album.
I'm fine. I'm really fine. And it's like, but then I always think as well, there's this weird thing where everyone has to get fucking engaged.
Oh my God.
If I was to get engaged, I would be so cross at him for asking me at Christmas.
Oh yeah.
My friend Steph said this, and I thought it was the cleverest thing ever. She goes, if my fiance proposed to me on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, she goes, I'd say no. And I said, why? She goes, I want it to be a Tuesday evening when it's raining and we've had a curry.
Yeah.
She goes, because then that'll be special.
Yeah, make a new anniversary. Don't block them all together.
Yeah, it's like being. And when's your birthday?
12th of July.
12th, thank God. Okay, good. Christmas Day babies, I feel sorry for.
Oh my God.
Everything's in one day.
Yeah. My dad's birthday's the 7th of January, and he's so hard to buy for anyway.
Yes.
That I use up all of my ideas for Christmas, and then I'm like, fuck, I've got through Christmas, and then I'm like, Jesus, gotta go again.
It's coffin distance.
I don't know what.
It is, it's so close. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I have no idea what to get him. And I've used up all of my ideas. Anyone who's like in the December period.
Yes. December, January period.
Yes.
Especially now with this dry January crack.
Yes.
A lot of people, so my friend India, she's the 2nd of January. 2nd of January.
Everyone's hungover.
Everyone's dying, broke.
Yeah. And everyone's doing dry January.
And everyone's doing dry January. Yeah. So I don't do it because of her, because I'm such a good friend.
I will have a bottle of wine with you, okay?
Even alone to support her on the 9th of January.
Solidarity.
Yeah, exactly. It's hey babe, this is for you, sweetheart. But I find January's the most depressing month.
Oh my God, it really is.
Why would you? I did dry August.
Yeah.
And that was better.
Yeah.
Because at least the weather's nice.
Yeah, and you can kind of like get drunk off other people's vibes.
Yes. And you plus well you've got less clothes on.
Yeah.
So you kind of want your body to look nice.
Yeah.
Whereas in January you don't give a shit.
No.
I'm a layer.
Yeah.
I'm a whore for a layer. I love it. You know, like jumpers, hats, scarves, gloves, cardigans.
Yes.
It's got real sexy.
Would you rather be too hot or too cold?
Oh, I don't like being too hot.
Because you can't escape it.
I really can't escape it.
Yeah.
At least,
You can't take your skin off.
No.
No.
No, you can't. Okay, would you rather be... so I think too cold. Would you rather be really hungry or really tired? Both
Really tired. Both
really
shit,
tired,
but really tired.
Really tired.
Because I think I'm not a great sleeper anyway. So I think I'm more used to that sensation. But if I'm really hungry, that comes with like... I'm like angry.
Yes,
I'm angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to a show last week, and my hunger comes on me like that. Like it's like I'm fine, starving, and I couldn't focus. And my mum was there with me. She goes, "Are you starving?" I said, "How do you know?" She goes, "You won't stop fidgeting." It's like I couldn't escape it. I thought if I moved just this way, maybe it'll trick my stomach to feel like full.
Yeah. Oh, babe.
It didn't.
No.
That's why I need to carry bits in my bag.
Yeah.
Protein bags. Yeah, snacks, banana.
Yeah. Stunning.
That's a good one. Too hot's horrible.
Too hot.
You know if you've been too hot in a plane?
Oh.
Where it's like boiling?
Or I get really cold on planes because you're so high in the air.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like one of those like transatlantic flights. Transatlantic. God, what are we, 1935? I was like, that Amelia transatlantic. It's like that transatlantic accent. Remember used to do
Oh my
in
god,
films.
Joss Stone, is that what
Just don't sound a bit transatlantic.
Yeah, it's like can't place her.
Oh, where's she from? Isn't she from like Northampton or
I thought
something?
she was from like Dorset or
Is she from...
She gives off Bristol. I don't know.
She gives off
why.
Bristol. She's very Ace Hotel.
Yeah.
I can imagine Just Stone there barefoot with a guitar and Katie Tunstall.
Oh my god, the two of them.
Yeah.
Wonder if they hang out.
I don't know, they should. Because they give me similar vibes.
Let's make that happen.
Shout out to them.
I think it's so weird that we're expected to, at like 21 years old, know what we're going to do for the rest of our lives.
I know.
I think it's become way more normal now, I hope, to have a tapas of jobs.
Yes.
To try a few. Like, I was speaking to my housemate about this because she's kind of going through one of those moments where she's 28. Well, she's 29 now, hence the birthday.
Oh yeah, the balloons, yes.
Yeah. But I think she's coming to that point where she's like, is this what I want to do forever?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
almost the internalised kind of shame of that question. And being like, it's fine. Like, you're still young. Like,
I know.
Do something that makes you happy.
I know, and I think like this age now, I do feel like compared to like our grandparents or our parents' generation, like my mum got married at 28.
Yeah.
I remember people were saying to her, "You gathering dust there on the shelf." But now it's like, did you ever see Broad City when he goes, "Marry me"? You don't he goes, "Marry." She goes, "I'm 27 years old. What am I, a child bride?" It's like, do you know, it's like, but my grandmother got married at 20.
Yeah.
And she had 3 kids by 25.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, Christ.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even have a pet. No. And I'm 33 years old.
My mum had her first kid when she was my age.
Oh,
she had my sister when she was my age, 28. But I'm like, oh my god, that is not even on my horizon.
Yes.
Me with a child. Better look after myself.
I know, but you know, her 28 is going to be your 35. 36.
So. Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
And then our kids probably, you know, because I mean, the Romans died in their 30s. Yeah, that was old age, wasn't it? Well, that's what I choose to believe. That's based on nothing.
Facts.
Yeah.
Okay, 3 things that make you feel like shit.
Do you know certain people you ring up and you're in good form and they instantly say something negative?
Okay, like energy vampires.
Yeah, kind of. Or something that's like, I don't mind if someone wants to have a vent. Do you know, I actively encourage that.
Yes.
Get it off your chest.
Yeah.
Have a good bitch, have a good moan. Oh, do you know what really... do you know, that really annoys me actually. I'm like, oh, you know, whatever. And you're kind of like, oh, please.
Yeah.
Don't. Or another thing is an inactive listener. Someone who's just silent.
Oh my gosh.
I find that very hard.
Yes.
That just makes me feel a bit like shit.
So even if, as in like, they're not giving you responses.
Yeah.
But they are listening.
Well, I hope they are.
Yeah.
But you know, not even goes a long way for me. Do you know if you're like...
Just really, know that someone's with you.
Just someone's
connected.
There. Yeah, kind of almost like, you know, vocally holding your hand. Yeah. I think when someone's just like... And you have to say, are you still there? That makes you feel like shit.
Especially on the phone, sometimes I think that's like cut off.
Yes.
I'm just talking.
I mean, I've had it before where it has cut off and I've talked. I'm like, when did I lose you? 25 minutes.
Oh my god.
I know.
I'm such a I am not comfortable in silence.
No.
So I'll be there doing the work to keep it filled. But if someone's not doing that for you as well, it just sends me anxious.
Yeah, I know. And then I start second guessing what I'm talking about. And I'm like, well, I've already felt a bit vulnerable. And now I feel like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what is this?
Yeah.
Like, if, fair enough, so not everyone's available enough to talk to you. But let me know.
Yeah.
Because then I'll go bring someone else.
But some people just are very comfortable in silence.
Yeah.
And don't feel the need to people please. I think it's a people pleasing thing in me.
Oh, Jesus,
that I'm
me
like,
too.
I'm going to keep talking because silence is awkward. So blah, 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 blah. But then when I don't get that reciprocated, I fall apart.
How are you when someone's venting?
When someone's venting, I think I'm quite good with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you a couple of...
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, great. I love that. We'll get on with coffee. This coffee is delicious. You just need a bit of that.
Meet each other.
What? They did what?
Oh my God, yeah.
I don't fucking believe this. Do you know, just a bit of that?
Yeah.
Oh, that just...
Some validation.
Yes.
Validate me.
And also be on my side.
Yeah.
Do you know another thing that makes me feel like shit? So sorry, you've really got me going.
Pandora's box.
I know. When someone goes like this, you when you're there and you can feel yourself just kind of teetering on the edge of being upset. God, I sound really kind of not solid. But you're teetering and someone goes, I'm just going to play devil's advocate here. I'm like, I'd rather you didn't.
I was hoping that you were going to say that because I fucking hate... The devil has enough advocates.
Yes.
That's what I always think.
Yes.
Why are you doing that, Steve?
Yes, Steve.
It's always Steve as well.
I don't need this. Oh, God. Steve. Neil. Steve. I don't need this.
Yeah,
but and I feel like, hope you don't mind. I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm like, no, I do mind.
I was listening to a podcast and it was a woman talking about devil's advocates and she was saying it's mainly like cis het white men and it's because a lot of the time they can't see themselves or empathize in the conversation that's being had.
Right.
So because they can't relate to certain things, they have to like play devil's advocate in order to have an opinion, as opposed to just like
piping down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, who put 50p in you?
Yeah.
Oh God, I think it's kind of just, do you know what? I'm sure, I'm reading them to filth, but I'm sure they don't mean any harm, but it can be so detrimental to how you're feeling in that moment, or how somebody else is feeling. Like, I'm not even just saying just me, like, if someone's there, like, say you're talking about something that obviously has made you feel really
and you're
shit.
passionate about it.
And it's obviously you're passionate about, or you feel like a bit, something really wrong has happened. And it's like, you're already talking about it and trying to make it clear in your head. You don't need this devil's advocate coming in. I'm like, fair enough, the film Devil's Advocate, I'm on board for. Fucked up. But I'm on board for. But don't bring it into this conversation.
Yeah.
And I just feel, oh God, it just really throws me.
Yeah.
And even when I hear, you can always, that intake of breath, you know what's coming. It's like this, it's like, and you're like, oh, here we go. They're like, I'm just going to play. You're like, no. It's awful. You can just, even just with that intake of breath, you can feel it coming. They're like, because usually it's like
There's
a movement of the glass.
Pause, isn't there?
Slight pause.
Yeah. Slight
movement of the glass, and then a slight sitting back in the chair. And I'm just going to play devil's advocate here, and you're like, oh Jesus. Why? That would be my three things.
Yeah, brilliant one.
Hey, Ant.
Hey.
You do a great job in editing this podcast, might I say. If people like the podcast, what do they need to do?
Like it.
What else?
Follow it on social media.
And then what?
They could share it with every single person they know.
Thanks, Ant. You can go back to your corner now.
Bye.
3 things that make you feel like the shit.
Oh God, you know when you arrive at a party and you're kind of thinking, I hope I know a lot of people there, or I hope I know some people there, or I don't know them that well.
Yeah.
And
You're
a bit nervous, you're arriving on your own.
Yeah.
You're kind of this, and you knock on the door. And you know when someone opens the door and their face lights up and they give you a big, oh God, I feel a bit emotional just talking about that. You know, and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And you're like, it's you. Oh, thank God you're here. Oh, where have you been? I'm just like, God, you're here. You're like, oh, that makes me feel, I feel like someone's just giving you armour.
Yeah.
And they throw your arms around you and they're like, come on in. Or what are you drinking? Or, or what, or work through that anywhere.
Yeah.
Or just something like that.
Making you feel comfortable immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Oh, I love when someone says to you, you know, like words, not to be twee, but when words sound like a hug, you know, when someone goes like this, you're like, take your time. Or take your time and no rush.
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that makes me feel so relaxed. It makes me feel like my best version of myself.
Yeah. I had so I used to live with my friend Kate, and she's such like a loving, motherly energy.
Oh, lovely.
But what she used to always say to me would just be like, "What do you need?"
Oh.
Like, so she'd listen to me, brilliant listener.
Oh, God,
And then
brilliant.
at the end of it, she'd be like, "Okay, what do you need now?" And I was like, "I don't know."
Oh, gee, but that's enough.
But it's like, but it's gorgeous, and it's
Yeah.
like it's giving someone the space, and also to, because I think a lot of the time when you're listening to a friend or something, you're like giving them advice. You fall into giving them advice that they don't necessarily
trying to solve
need.
the problem.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
maybe they just need to be listened, or maybe they just need a cup of tea. And it's just, that's like a hug for me when someone says that to me.
Yes. I know it sounds mad, but one time I was walking with my friend PJ around Dublin, and he'd walked on ahead, and I was looking at there was a bar, and I called PJ back. I said, "PJ, look at this, look at this." I looked over, and this woman, she was really listening to this other woman. She was really giving her like this. And, you know, her eyes were really empathetic. I said, "Look how well that woman's listening to that other woman." And he looked at me like, "Are you fucking for real?" And he's mentioned a couple of times after, "I see nothing wrong with that." I was thinking, fair play to her. Give her a medal.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you could, you know when someone's like, it's very visual, sorry
Yes,
for the
yeah.
pod, but when someone's like this, you know, with their hand just slightly under the thing,
Fully
really,
engaged.
and you're the only person in the
Yeah.
world.
I love that feeling.
Oh God,
I love that feeling, and I love bestowing that
so do
feeling.
I. Yes, I mean it's great both ways. It's great. That's
Just a couple of listeners.
just what are we? Just a couple of listeners sitting back shooting the breeze, chewing the fat. Oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, and then another thing that I love as well. These are all quite emotional things, but do you know like when someone goes, so if someone cooks you dinner,
Yeah.
it's a real thing. So if my mum's cooking for 6, she'll cook for like 12.
Yeah.
And it's like this, with like, you know, if you go up and they're like, help yourself to that, and they're like, take as much, and I know it sounds really like wrong, but like, eat away, it'll only go in the bin tomorrow. So I'd rather you eat it now, and they're like, really want you to
There's
have
like
as much.
permission to like.
Just really kind of
Indulge
indulge
in it, yeah.
and fill your boots, and there's
Yeah.
plenty, and we cooked for you,
Yeah.
and we cooked so you'd have loads.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, just like making a fuss.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. It's like when you go around to eat at someone's house, it's very like that.
God.
Like lots of bits. Yeah, just kind of.
I love those things.
Yeah.
Very heartwarming. I feel all like full inside.
God, I sound like really wholesome. I'm actually an asshole. I'm such a prick.
Okay, something that makes you lose your shit in a positive and a negative way.
Lose my shit in a. I'll start with the negative. Do you know? I lose things an awful lot, and then and you know sometimes like I get into a bit of a panic. You know, like you know, sometimes with like a pass, like a travel pass or an Oyster card or my phone. Like I've sometimes stood in the middle of like a busy tube station, emptied my bag out on the floor. Do you know that blind panic? And so when someone goes, or someone goes, like sorry for the listeners, there was an eye roll there as well. But you know, like this, I'm like, that isn't helping me, and now I'm more stressed, and then I really feel like I'm losing my shit because I'm like not even just like angry, but kind of like I'm more panicked now.
Yeah, because I'm taking into your consideration you.
I'm like, and how long is this going to take? I should find it in a minute.
I know.
But even if I don't find it and it's gone,
Yeah.
that ain't going to help.
No, your eye roll.
Yeah, your eye roll, your exasperated breath,
Yeah.
because. But you know, it's like that really just makes you feel like, fuck, I don't really want to go now.
Yeah.
Even if I'm going to the nicest thing, you know, if I'm going to like a film I want to see, or a film they want to see, or you know, whatever, going out for dinner, or going to a party. Now I'm in fucking weird form because I feel shook.
Yeah. I hate it when you lose something.
Yeah.
And you're like certain that you've lost it, and like I will get like livid, and like someone will be like, "Have you checked everywhere?" I'm like, "Yes, fucking checked everywhere. All right, I've checked it. Have you checked your pockets?" "Yes, of course I've checked my pockets. Of course I've checked my bag. Mum. Of course I have. Of course I have." And then
I'm not
literally you find it
stupid.
like 2 hours later, like in your bag, and you're
Yeah.
like, "Now I have to tell them."
Yes, I know. I'm like this. I'm like, oh, and they're like, just in your jacket. They're like, a lovely woman just popped around. She said she found it on a tree. And they're like,
And it
"Really?"
would have been lost actually.
And it was lost. It was lost. And they're like, right, what was this woman called? She's like, balloon. Just can't really think. And then lose my shit in a good way. I love someone who dances.
Go on.
On a night out. Do you know if someone's like this,
Yes.
or you're like, you know, especially if someone who dances with you, even if they don't like really, if they're mad on the song. Do you hear if you're at a bar and you hear like, I know, Dua Lipa hallucinates in my head now, or just say like old Lady Gaga or something like this. You're like, fuck, I love this song.
Yeah.
They're like, come on.
Up we go.
I know. And even if you're queuing for a drink, you're
Yeah.
like, fuck the drinks.
Yeah.
Like if I heard like Perfect Exceeder, you're
Oh
like,
my
1,
God.
2, 3, 4. I heard that in a club recently. I nearly died.
Everything has to stop and you just have to dance.
Come with me.
Yes.
And like this, someone comes with you, and then it feels like really good, and they're enjoying it as much as you're enjoying it. It's just like,
Yeah.
and then once that song's over, we can go back and get a
You
drink.
go back to your lives.
Yeah,
You
go
might
back-
never see them again.
Might never see them. Might never hear it again. You know, I might.
But you've
Was that-
shared that beautiful moment.
Yes, and they're kind of like, well, come on, let's have a dance. I love dancing.
dancing.
I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm a dancer or a singer, but I move and I make noise. So it's like, you know, I would hate
You
if it was
gotta
in a
use
silent
it.
disco.
Use it or lose it, babes.
Great, well, I've lost it. I never had it. I never had it. But you know, like kind of like shared excitement. Shared excitement makes me lose my shit.
Yeah.
When someone gets as excited for something as you are,
Oh my gosh.
that's lovely.
That's why I love karaoke. I speak way too much about karaoke in this podcast, but because I don't see myself as like the best singer, but karaoke isn't a space for that. Karaoke is just for that shared using your shit and like making noise and dancing.
Oh God, yeah, and it's very intimate. I
Yes,
think
yeah,
because it's really
yeah.
because my friend India,
Yeah.
she was like there when she was really stressed about something, and a friend of mine, Imogen, she just she was directing this play. It's a very stressful day,
Yeah.
and I said, God, they were like, we don't want to drink too much. And I said, yeah, I don't want to drink too much either. She goes, I want to do something really fun, and then she goes, right, okay, I booked us an hour in Lucky Voice. So at 8:00 on a Tuesday evening, she booked an hour for Lucky Voice in Islington.
Just
went in for an hour
catharsis.
and just did loads of songs.
Amazing.
And it was just, it felt great.
Yeah, just get it out, purge yourself.
But I, you know, you know, I'm not good from the diaphragm, so I was like, whatever I was doing, I was hoarse the next day. It sounded like I had the wildest night. Like it sounded like I've been on the tear for days.
On the lash.
On the batter. But I was like, oh God. But I'd only been in Lucky Voice for an hour, but I was like translating to Chicago, but I was very damaged. So I think I'd gone down a couple of octaves. It sounded like Barry White. But it was lovely. It was stress relief.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely is, yeah.
They should do that in offices.
I used to do that with my housemate when we lived in Streatham. If she came back from like a really stressful day, or if I had a stressful day, get back in the kitchen, just put on music really loud and just
lovely.
sing and dance.
Oh, lovely.
Just get it out.
That's because they do day raves in places.
Yeah, for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say that were like morning raves. I remember, was it Berlin? I want to say Berlin.
Let's
say it Berlin, based again on nothing. But it's like they were doing morning raves before people went to work, with a good form for the day, and they were like,
Oh my
you know,
God,
dry.
endorphins, of course. Yeah.
It's like when you go to, like, I don't exercise very well because I get really distracted.
Yeah.
But I was doing Barry's boot camp for a while.
Okay.
And they like shout at you and tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden an hour's over and you've exercised and you're sweaty and you know you've like worked, but you can't really remember what was happening.
Yeah, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. You don't have to be too present with yourself.
No,
You just get told what to do.
Exactly, yeah. It's like you're spoon fed, like exercise.
Okay, a moment that you found some shit out about yourself.
Well, there was one time we were in New Zealand
Mm-hmm.
and we were driving along, so we'd gone skydiving that morning, and I was like, God, you know,
Oh my God.
I know. And my mum did it too.
Never. Oh my God.
I know
No.
the three of us did, me, mum, my brother. And my brother was always going to do it. I was kind of on the fence, and I was like, if mum does it, I'll do it.
Wow.
So we went jump.
You literally, coming off the fence is a long drop.
Oh, Jesus, I know. It was a longest of 3,000 feet. I
Fucking
know.
hell.
High fence.
Oh my God.
And I was like, right, okay. And you know, I felt very odd after. So we were driving, then we had lunch, and then, you know, I think it was because the adrenaline was so high. Sean and I fell asleep in the car.
Oh my gosh.
And we were driving, and it was like, it was in, kind of, like, it was outside Rotorua or something. And there was like, it was like a logging path. So it was all these big lorries with logs.
Yeah.
And I woke up, but the car was swerving, and basically it went over, and it went onto the wrong side of the road, and then flew over, and then hit the ditch, and then flipped over.
No way.
And there was like this, so basically it was a blowout, and the car blew up. I thought Mum had fallen asleep, but the actual tyre blew out. So Mum was trying to get control of the
Oh
car.
my God.
Very good driving.
As if
by
you've
Mum.
not had enough adrenaline for one day.
Exactly. We were like Kennedys. So we were there, and it flew over, and then the car flipped over. And I thought,
Yeah.
this is how I imagine it. So I was swinging from the seat belts, and I thought we were all very calm. And the windscreen had smashed, and the car smashed, and then we had to climb out over the thing. And I thought we were really calm. And I said, God, none of us are hurt. Isn't that mad? And then they called an ambulance. Someone called an ambulance because they heard the car blow in. They brought the fire engine, all this. They're like, we can't believe you're all fine. So we were sitting down that night, we were having a glass of wine. This lovely family took us into their house and waited.
Wow.
And they were lovely.
Yeah.
Isaac Boss, the rugby player, is his sister.
Oh, wow.
Shout out to her.
Shout out.
Yeah. And then I said, God, isn't it good we were all so calm? And Sean goes, what? And I said, we were all so calm. He goes, bro, you were screaming. He goes, you were absolutely screaming at the top of your lungs when you were swinging from that car. I went, no. no, I don't think that's right. And one goes, I think you were, yeah. And I was like, but in my head I was like, oh.
wow.
But supposedly I was like, ah.
Oh my God.
So it's funny how I think that's when I realised
You don't remember
you don't always remember things how they
properly.
were. Yeah, exactly. And I think,
Oh my God, you jumped out of that plane and you're like, God, isn't it funny how calm it was?
yes, I
Cut it.
don't think I said a word. I know exactly. It's like, God, my throat's sore. Must be
my
from all the
God.
adrenaline. But I think it's like, that was the first thing, because I always thought I was really calm in that
Yeah.
emergency, but supposedly I was less than calm.
Headless chicken.
Headless chicken, yeah.
Yeah.
What could have been.
Well, understandably though.
I
That
know.
sounds terrifying.
I know, it's all right for him. He wasn't swinging from a seatbelt. He was on the other side of the car. He was beside the muck.
Oh my God. Wow, okay. Shiftest piece of advice you've received?
Oh, I think sometimes when someone goes, if you're kind of in a situation and someone goes, keep the peace, kind of just don't say anything and just kind of keep the peace, keep the peace.
Yeah.
I always think that can be really tricky.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes when things are left unsaid and there's like silence, I feel like I find that very unnerving.
Yeah.
Because I feel like almost kind of I don't really know where I stand.
Yeah.
Where if I walk into a room and everyone's really quiet, I'm thinking, and it couldn't be nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
But I feel like, God, I wish this could be sorted out because it's really heavy.
Yeah, and you can feel it in the air. can't you?
Yes. And it might be feck all to do with
Yeah,
you, or it might be very much to do with you,
Yeah.
but I'd rather know.
Might be about you.
It might be. Probably it might be. We don't know.
Yeah.
But I think, or say nothing.
Yeah.
I think that could be very bad, deadly advice.
Yeah, I think it's that thing of it, like, it splits you from your integrity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I find that the most difficult place to be is, like, if I'm, treading that line of, like, not saying something or not being honest about how I feel.
Yeah. I think that's really hard. Like, sometimes I don't really like confrontation.
Yeah.
And I find it really kind of I feel kind of funny after it.
Yeah.
But I do usually feel better. I think if it's done calmly, but
Yeah.
I think getting to that point where you kind of say, oh, I really didn't like how that was, or I really wouldn't want you to say that again, or if someone says to me, even confrontation, when someone says to me, I find, because then I used to just apologise, even if I, but at least you know where you stand.
Exactly.
Whereas I feel like when it's underlying and it kind of hangs in the
area.
air, or I don't like, when something isn't said and like it hangs in the air for days, I find that really debilitating.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I'm like, it's because then sometimes if there's an argument or something like that and you're not speaking, I forget. So I come in on guns blazing, or I'm laughing, and then I'm like, oh shit, yeah, we're not talking. I'm like, this is hard.
Damn it.
Yes,
Yeah.
damn it.
Just undermined my whole
Yeah,
thing.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay, shit you wish you'd known sooner.
I remember someone saying to me one time, this woman I know called Tiggy, and I was really panicking about what I was doing, and she said to me, she goes, Rory, you keep thinking that everyone knows exactly what they're doing, and she goes, no one has a clue. And I was like, what? And it was the first time she goes, no one has a fucking clue what they're doing. She goes, everyone's just plodding along and hoping for the best. She goes, you think that everyone's got their shit sorted out. And I wish someone had told me that at 18.
Yes.
Where I was 26.
Wow.
When someone told me, and I was like, which wasn't that long ago. But it was, I always had it in my head that everyone kind of knew, everyone had a plan, everyone was going according to the plan.
Yeah.
I think no one...
People are just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Which I felt was really liberating, but also kind of, it felt more connecting then. I felt more connected to everybody else.
Yeah. That's literally why I started this podcast, was because I think I was probably... Well, no, I think I was about 23, 24. And I went home to my dad, and it was a moment where I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life.
Yeah.
Like, I've just left a relationship and blah, blah, blah. And I said to him, like, at what point do you feel like you've got your shit together? Because I'm waiting for that moment of feeling like an adult. And he was like, Kate, never.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm 50, however old he was at that point, and he was like, every day I wake up and I'm just trying to get through the day and make the right decisions. And
Yeah.
he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then him saying that to me, I was like, oh my God, this thing that I'm aiming for actually doesn't exist.
Yes.
I'm always going to feel like this. So it's about becoming comfortable with this feeling
Yes.
as opposed to feeling like you've reached
Yeah.
thing,
And then we're at the destination where you can
Yeah.
sit back and be like, oh, I've done it.
Yeah.
But did you see him more like a human after he said that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's
funny that.
it spurred all of this on because I was
Yes.
more
Big
people
fan of
need
the
to
pod,
know it.
by the
Thanks. But yeah, it spurred all of this on because I was like, I feel
if everyone just fucking knew that no one actually knows, the whole myth of it just doesn't exist.
I think it's when you can
It's
just
so
breathe.
liberating. Exactly.
Yeah.
And therefore, it's just like, you're just trying to do your best, actually. You're not trying to, like, tick a box. Or...
Yes, or do it perfect.
Exactly.
I try to do things perfect, I think, can be really, kind of like, can make you really stagnant. Like, I feel like you don't kind of like, oh, well, it's not perfect, so I won't do it.
Yeah.
Or
it stops you from taking risks.
Taking risks, or even creating, or
Yeah.
doing, or putting stuff out. I feel like, I always thought things had to be really polished and perfect, and not that I don't want them to do the best they can be.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of, there'll always be, and you'll always get criticism, or you'll always be, whatever, but it's just about maybe sharing it with what like how you're feeling at the moment.
There's that Brené Brown quote, which is that perfectionism is a product of shame. And we should all be striving for healthy excellence. And that's something that I have to remind myself.
That's
like,
lovely.
perfectionism is actually like a shame-filled thing because you're scared of
Yes.
failure, but it will stop you from putting things out.
Because people always will reproach what you've done.
Yeah.
Why do they teach that in schools rather
Honestly,
than Pythagoras'
fucking
theorem?
trigonometry. No,
Yes, I should know what I mean.
How did you find when you first started putting things out onto Instagram then? Because, for me, for example, if I share, when I first started sharing the podcast, I was just absolutely terrified.
Yes.
And of like what people would think about it, or like how much engagement it would get and stuff like that. And it for a while it stopped me from moving forwards with it because of the fear of doing that.
Yeah.
And I still have moments now where, like, if I share like something creative online, even though I can feel, if I sit down with myself and I think about it, the integrity of it is there, and I know why I'm doing it, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah.
But suddenly when you put it onto Instagram or something like that, algorithms can fuck with it or whatever, or people might just not vibe with it, and that's fine, but like that can make me question the whole thing.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I completely know what you mean. I think when I first put it, because it, I think it was, as like we were talking about, I can't remember if it was on here before, but with wearing a wig or doing a character, there was a sense of distance.
Yes.
So everything I did kind of before, like I wouldn't put my stand up online. I would put like sketches or character sketches, but I really felt like there was kind of a thing of, I put it out there, and it was kind of, and there was some nasty comments sometimes, or people would private message, or people would kind of like feel the need to be negative or whatever, which is fine, I'm sure they're good with the bad. But then there were so many nice things as well, or people would say under things that were really supportive, or people would share it.
Yeah.
And you were kind of thinking, oh God, and then I think just not thinking too much. And then I was talking to somebody who was a comedian, and I was talking about, like how do algorithms work and how do things, they said, just produce. They said, still make it good, but don't dwell on a sketch, move on to the next.
Yeah.
So I was trying to do like 2 or 3 a week when I first started.
Yeah.
So it kind of made you, and it kind of made you
nice to
jump
have a
onto the
project,
next.
isn't it?
Yeah. And you weren't so precious about the one thing. Although you wanted to be good, you were kind of on to the next and keeping variety.
That's such good advice.
And it was really good.
Yeah.
And even now, since I've slowed down, because I'm kind of doing more like shows and stuff, I still would look like, I do think the less I do now, the more I think about them, or the more I'm more kind of precious with them.
Yeah. And I think sometimes you have to remind yourself like why you're doing it, because like I think with art and with creativity there is this capitalistic thing that gets put onto it, that it's like the thing that is going to make you money, or the thing that is going to make you successful, and therefore that is your purpose in doing it. And actually sometimes just reminding yourself like, no, I started this thing just because I thought it was funny, and it gave me purpose in a time, and I thought I'd share it with people, and
it made you happy.
It makes me happy. Like I enjoy doing it, like. And when you remind yourself of that, then it gives you the power to move forwards with it. I think sometimes when you get lost in the, are other people liking it, like it separates you from the initial reason as to why you started doing it in the first place.
Yes. And then it becomes
you're chasing something.
And you're all kind of like, you're not finding the satisfaction, so you're not as happy doing it, which then probably shows in it.
Definitely.
Which means then you're not getting the response you wanted.
It's not as authentic.
Yeah, and it's not kind of so joyful, you know. So I think it's like when you watch somebody, when someone goes, oh, sing happy birthday, or, and they're forcing someone to do something, it's really uncomfortable for not just the person doing it, it's really uncomfortable for the people in the room.
Yeah.
Because they're uncomfortable. Then I do think human beings are very intuitive, almost a bit like a lion. Like if they smell fear, I find with an audience, if you're not enjoying it, doesn't matter what the thing is, they're going to smell like a shark with blood. and then they're going to lose faith in it, which means then you're not going to, there's going to be a disconnect.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're enjoying something, like some of the shows I've watched, like some of the best people like I've watched, like some really funny comedians, they've broken from the material and they've gone with the flow and they've done a bit of audience work, let go, and they've kind of felt really alive.
Yeah.
And you're watching, like, I remember there was one time I was watching it was called Spank in Edinburgh, and it was like all these different comedians that were doing shows would do like a 5-minute slot. And there was this fella who was talking to someone in the audience. I actually thought I was going to die. I couldn't catch my breath, and I have like a horse, like it's like a lamb. It's like an asthmatic explosion. And he was like there, and I couldn't catch my breath. I was like, you are hilarious.
Yeah.
There's no feeling like it.
Yeah. It's that thing that they say, like, when you're auditioning or something, it's often the ones that you either don't want or you haven't put that much work into the ones you'll get, because of that energy that you bring into a room. Like, if you're going in and being like, I need to get this job because... And it's really hard not to do it because you're like, I need to pay my rent and I need to get this job and, like, I'm perfect for this and I just need them to see it. Like,
and you
they can smell it immediately. Like, so fucking annoying.
I know! It's like desperation.
Yeah.
So you're desperate for or you're really kind of like, yeah, absolutely, yeah, shave my head, no problem. Cut my arm off, yeah, no problem, I'll do that. I only need one arm. Yes, like, and you're just like, give me the bloody job. Yeah. Or you even hear by people as well where they're kind of like, oh, I taped and I did self-tapes, or I did this, whatever, and then, oh, I just did one last one, it was like really throwaway, and that's the one that got them the job or something. You're like, God.
Yeah. I know. It's a
Fair
balance,
play.
though, I
think. It is a balance.
Okay, this is the point of a shit shot.
Oh?
So this is a photo that to the outside eye looks like you had your shit together, but at the actual time you didn't.
Oh, I think there was a photo of... There was a photo, I think it was just before... I think it was just before I got sacked as an estate agent, and I was there and I got a new suit and I was going to this party and someone had taken a photo, and God... I felt the dog's bollocks. I had this lovely little suit on. It was like a mad pattern suit, and my hair was freshly done. And I looked kind of like, do you look somebody who's kind of like really kind of like got it, snapped it together? And I think it was within a week I found out I got sacked as an estate agent.
No.
And I found out I got sacked because they brought the whole company together, which was like 65 people.
Intervention.
Yeah, an intervention or something. Yeah, the key didn't work in the office. No, but they called out everyone's name one by one for business cards. And I got to the box, it was empty.
No.
And I went, oh, you didn't call out my name. And they went, oh, didn't we? And I went, no. And they went, oh, it must have been a problem with the printers.
Oh my
and no one would meet my eye. And I was like, oh. And they went, yeah, oh, we better ring them. I said, what, like now? And they went, oh, yeah, we'll ring them. And I was like, so I went to a glass cube of an office because it was Orchards of London. They're gone now.
Okay.
But it was like this thing, and I went into the glass cube, and I went to my manager Joanne. I said, "Am I being sacked?" And she goes, "What?" No, I said, "Talk to me as a friend, not as a manager." She goes, "Well, there has been a conversation."
Oh God.
And I went like this. I just went mad, and I was like, "Oh." And I was like, oh God, I couldn't believe it. And I put my arms in the air. I was like, kind of like this, whatever. In a glass office. I know, in a glass office. They could see me. And I was like, gather myself together. And I went in and I walked.
Smooth the hair.
Right, no, exactly. Yeah, just like jacket or sleeve ripped off my suit, my next suit. But I think that was, I remember thinking, oh God, I really don't have my shit together.
What a way to fucking find out.
I know.
Oh, babe.
God, wasn't that tight?
That's brutal.
I know.
Estate agents.
I know. Oh, I know. And then being famed for their kindness.
Wild.
I know.
Okay, so, Rory.
Hi.
Have you got your shit together?
I would say some days yes, some days no.
Mm-hmm.
Some I do think kind of one of those things where it's like, with the days I don't feel like I've got my shit together, not to dwell too much, be like, right, tomorrow or get what I can done today, and then get things sorted a wee bit.
Yeah.
I would say I'm in the process of getting my shit together, but I think that's never going to stop.
That's going to go on forever.
Yeah. Like you said.
Yeah.
But I feel more kind of content than I was, but definitely kind of. Yes and no.
Yeah.
To sum up.
A little bit of yes, a little bit of no. Okay, you said that you had some things to plug.
Oh yeah. So keep an eye on my Instagram. Do some work in progress shows, so you can hear a lot more about those 32 jobs I've had. And then also Instaprov I'm doing in the 31st of January.
Great.
And then improvisation with my brother, Sean McInnerney,
Amazing.
with the Brothers Grin.
Oh,
so keep an eye out.
That's such a good name.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Brothers Grin. That was my brother's idea.
saw
I
that
wasn't
on
mad
Instagram,
on it.
like, I think it's great.
I know, it's very good. Well done,
Brothers
him.
Grin.
So follow us on Instagram at the
Yes.
Brothers Grin.
Yeah.
And but thank you so much. And also this pod, love, big
Thank
fan.
you so
Thanks
much
for
for
having
coming
me.
on.